Cephalaspis. Cephalaspis, meaning head shield, is a probably monotypic genus of extinct osteostracan agnathan vertebrate. It was a trout-sized detritivorous fish that lived in estuaries of the late Silurian and the early Devonian. Description: like its relatives, Cephalaspis was heavily armored, presumably to defend against predatory placoderms and eurypterids, as well as to serve as a source of calcium or metabolic functions in calcium-poor freshwater environments. It had sensory patches along the rim and center of its head shield. Diet. Because its mouth was situated directly beneath its head, Cephalaspis was thought of as being a bottom feeder, akin to a heavily armored catfish or sturgeon. It moved its plow-like head from side to side, Cephalaspis easily stirring sand and dust into the water, along with revealing the hiding places of its prey, digging up worms or crustaceans hidden in the mud and algae, as well as sifting through detritus inferred from its lack of jaws and inability to bite. Classification: the genus Cephalaspis has long been used as a wastebasket taxon since Agassiz erected it in 1835 for 4 species: C. lyelli, C. rostratus, C. lewisi, and C. lloydii. Later, it was eventually determined that the last 3 species were portions of what would eventually be described as the heterostracan Pteraspis rostratus. C. lyelli, named after Sir Charles Lyell, would be left to be the type species of the genus. Other researchers would continue adding other similar-looking osteostracans throughout the decades until, in 2009, Sansom re-evaluated Osteostraci and determined that only C. lyelli could be reliably placed within Cephalaspis, and that probably all other species would eventually need to be re-examined and be placed into other genera. In the same 2009 study, Sansom also determined that Cephalaspis sensu stricto was the sister taxon of cornuate osteostracans, i.e. all osteostracans that either have or have ancestors that had defined corners on the head shields. Included species. The following is a list of species that have been included into Cephalaspis. Most likely do not belong to the genus, but have not been formally moved. Plus Cephalaspis lyelli Agassiz, 1835 type species. Plus Cephalaspis arhusi Wangsjo, 1952. Plus Cephalaspis agassizi Lancaster, 1868. Plus Cephalaspis brevirostris Denison, 1952. Plus Cephalaspis bruffi Wangsjo, 1952. Plus Cephalaspis cradelensis Stensio, 1932. Plus Cephalaspis dissimulata Wangsjo, 1952. Plus Cephalaspis dorophorus Wangsjo, 1952. Plus Cephalaspis fleti Stensio, 1932. Plus Cephalaspis freticornis Wangsjo, 1952. Plus Cephalaspis hyperboreus Wangsjo, 1952. Plus Cephalaspis lancastri Stensio, 1932. Plus Cephalaspis lornensis trackware, 1899. Plus Cephalaspis microlepidota balabai, 1962. Plus Cephalaspis naviscotii Denison, 1955. Plus Cephalaspis platycephalus Wangsjo, 1952. Plus Cephalaspis producta Wangsjo, 1952. Plus Cephalaspis recticornis Wangsjo, 1952. Plus Cephalaspis spinifer Stensio, 1923. Plus Cephalaspis tenuicornis Wangsjo, 1952. Plus Cephalaspis verulosa Wangsjo, 1952. Plus Cephalaspis websteri Stensio, 1932. Plus Cephalaspis whitfasciensis Stensio, 1932. Plus Cephalaspis wyomingensis Denison, 1952. Species of Cephalaspis that have been reassigned. Plus Cephalaspis choristes Wangsjo, 1952 equals Macharaspis choristes. plus Cephalaspis excellens Wangzhou 1952 equals Wangzhouaspis excellens plus Cephalaspis elegans Balabai 1962 equals Sichaspis Simoradskii plus Cephalaspis haystata Wangzhou 1952 equals Macheraspis haystata plus Cephalaspis holy Stensio 1927 equals Mimetaspis holy plus Cephalaspis ibex Wangzhou 1952 equals Macheraspis ibex plus Cephalaspis jarviki Wangzhou 1952 equals Diadomaspis jarviki plus Cephalaspis magnifica Trackware 1893 equals Truinia magnifica plus Cephalaspis microtuberculata Abrashev 1961 equals Escumanaspis laticeps plus Cephalaspis pagi Lancaster 1868 equals Janaspis pagi plus Cephalaspis pattini Robertson 1936 equals Levisquaspis pattini plus Cephalaspis powrii Lancaster 1868 equals Janaspis powrii plus Cephalaspis Rosamundi Roberts 1937 equals Escumanaspis laticeps plus Cephalaspis rostrata agassiz 1835 equals Pteraspis rostrata plus Cephalaspis salwii Edgerton 1857 equals Xenaspis salwii plus Cephalaspis utahensis Branson and Male 1931 equals Camptaspis utahensis. Other miscellaneous species once assigned to Cephalaspis plus Cephalaspis abergavensiensis White 1963 plus Cephalaspis acuticornis Stensio 1927 plus Cephalaspis billcrofti White and Toombs 1983 plus Cephalaspis campbelltonensis Whiteaves 1881 plus Cephalaspis cocculi MacGillivray 1921 plus Cephalaspis comalensis White and Toombs 1983 plus Cephalaspis dawsoni Lancaster 1870 plus Cephalaspis jurinensis Balabai 1962 plus Cephalaspis Gabrielsay Dimley and Loeffler plus Cephalaspis Isechsini Stensio 1927 plus Cephalaspis jexi Trackware 1893 plus Cephalaspis peninsula Pajau 1969 plus Cephalaspis shrenkii Pander plus Cephalaspis sp. Forfar Truin and Davidson 1996 plus Cephalaspis Sydenhami Pajau 1969 plus Cephalaspis Trackwari Stensio plus Cephalaspis uternaria plus Cephalaspis Vogti Stensio 1927 plus Cephalaspis Watnelii Stensio 1927 plus Cephalaspis Westoli Russell 1954